Hello and welcome to the Dragon Way podcast, where we showcase the culture of MSUM Dragons football through the lens of those who lived it while they played and how they're living it today. I'm Wade, I'm your host, and if you haven't heard yet, I kind of like B-dubs. For those of you who don't know what the Dragon Way is, simply it's 4 things Dragon football focuses on to create men of character. Do what's right, find a way, be a great teammate, and keep getting better. That's the Dragon Way. Here to talk about their experience playing for Dragon football and living the Dragon Way today is, you guessed it, our very own Abe Roehrich. Coach Roehrich, how you doing, man?
Doing well, man. It's weird not getting to do the halftime show, I guess, but this will do in place of it.
Yeah, maybe it won't be as entertaining, but we'll give it our best shot.
All right.
So how you doing, man? Let the people know. Obviously you're on the coaching staff, but let some of the listeners know kind of what you're up to, what you've been doing. Anything that they may not know about you right now.
Yeah. So I coach the defensive backs now here at MSUM. And then I got married last June. So we've been married for almost half a year now. So that's going well. We live in a house together here in Fargo, and then just working over obviously at the college coaching. We're almost through the season. We got 3 games left, and we're sitting at 4-4. I don't know when this will air, I guess, but we got Northern coming up this weekend, so it'll be another battle. Seems like every week in this conference has been a great battle. So another one coming up this Saturday.
Right on. All right, man. Well, obviously, biggest reason I brought you on here is I think you're going to have a unique perspective. I've had a few guys that were a lot like myself, where maybe they played in the program, they dabbled in the coaching world, coaching for the program, seeing things from both lenses. You're obviously still in that lens, doing a great job. So I think you're going to provide some very interesting perspectives on things that may help, again, future student athletes, guys who are interested in the program, and you're going to have a good message to people who follow the program very closely. So kind of where I want to start is, and we'll dial it back here a little bit right away. So what were you looking for in a football program when you started the recruiting process?
Yeah, I guess, looking back there, I came from a high school that was pretty successful. And we liked football a lot, like that we kind of lived and breathed it in our town. So I wanted to live and breathe football for the next 4.5 years. I didn't really care. School wise, I didn't know what I was going to major in. I didn't have that nailed down yet. So school didn't really matter in that sense. It was more just the football part of it. And when I talked with Coach Lockway and Coach Hunt, I came on a visit actually. I wrestled up here in the state wrestling tournament and in Fargo, and then we went over and visited Moorhead and talked with them. And you could just tell they were very genuine people. And that was, when we left, my mom and my dad were talking, and as we were driving, and my mom said, you can tell they have good values. And I didn't really think about it, as I was sitting there, I was maybe kind of starry-eyed, and you're just kind of on a visit, and it's cool to be talking to a college football coach kind of deal. But I think that's kind of what it came down to, was the values of the program matched what I wanted to be, and kind of who I was and who I wanted to be in the future, who I wanted to work towards being. And that was the biggest thing that I think I saw in Dragon football, going to make my decision to go here, I guess.
Okay. and then now, obviously, being in the program for, roughly 8 years, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you were to give some advice just for your normal, high school senior student athlete, getting a start, kind of getting their feet wet in the recruiting world, because obviously it's changed. It changes every year. It feels like,
Yep.
New rules, different, just the way things get handled, right? So, kind of from today's lens, and with exception to, maybe Aaron Bowl, who was on the podcast as well, you guys probably have the 2 best perspectives. So how would you flip it now to, if you were to give some advice to an 18-year-old?
Yeah. I think obviously it's a really important decision, right? I mean, it's 4 to 5 years of your life that where the first time, for most kids anyways, the first time in your life where you're making basically all the decisions, what you eat, your mom's not cooking for you anymore, those things, you don't get to come home. It's almost every decision you make now is on your own. So it's a big decision as far as the environment you're going to be in and those things. So I think, to me, the biggest thing is who do you want to be? Who do you want to grow into being, and what values do matter most to you? Obviously, you want to play football, you want to win football games, you want to get a college degree, and maybe it's in a certain field or something like that. But so those things weigh into the decision as well. But at the end of the day, it's the people that matter. The people you surround yourself with. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're around good people and you're doing something that's, even if it's crappy, hard work or something, if you're around really good people, it's probably going to be pretty fun. But if you're doing something that should be fun, but you're around crappy people, it's probably not going to be fun. Right. So I think the biggest thing is finding people that you fit in with, that you want to be like, because you don't want to go somewhere where it's just easy and maybe it's fun, but it's not necessarily the best environment to grow yourself as a person. I think that part of it is find a place where you can be who you want to be, not just, a fun version, and maybe, obviously the other things matter, football and school as well. But I think that's the biggest thing for me is, if I could tell you anything, is go to where there's people that you want to be like, because you're going to become like the people that are there. You spend a lot of time with the people there and the coaches there. So if you don't want to be like them, then it'd be a really bad decision to go there.
Right. Awesome. All right. So again, kind of a two-headed question here, but first part I wanted to ask you, how did Dragon football, meet those expectations, and where did they exceed expectations?
Yeah. Well, I definitely came here and there was certain values I wanted to be like, but maybe not to the extent that I knew it. I would say I just talked about it, getting married recently, and there was 5 or 6 guys in my wedding, and there was plenty more that were there, celebrating the day with me. And I would say those guys have shaped my life and changed my life in ways that I probably didn't know possible. I'm I don't know, probably at the bottom, at the core, I'm still the same person, but I'm also a very different person than when I came to MSUM, in the sense of a lot of things, maturity wise, and growing up and just becoming a man and learning the different things of life, I guess, so far. I mean, I still got a lot to learn, obviously, but there's just so many things that the program taught all of us that we learned together and that we experienced together. Even me and you now, coaching together for a while, and obviously we played together, but you were, a couple years older or whatever. But there's just that bond together that it's different, and that's the part that I guess I never knew would happen, because in high school I thought I had the best friends, and I'm still pretty good friends with those, some of those guys, but I thought I had, the 10 best friends that I'm going to have forever. And that's just not the case. And now, the guys that I'm going to be friends with forever, most of them are guys that I played with in college or coached with, or, those kind of things.
Right. Okay. And then, so what's different about Dragon football?
Sometimes when I'm talking to recruits, I like to say that, I'm probably pretty biased because I love this place. I love working here. I loved playing here. At the same time, I don't know what else is out there. So maybe for good or for bad, I don't know exactly what goes on in other programs. But I do know here, whether it's different from all programs, I'm sure it's different from some. You're going to be valued as a person at MSU, and that's probably the biggest thing. Whether you're a scout team player for 5 or 6 years, some guys, or you're a starter for whatever 44 games in your career, you're going to be valued as the same value as a person. We everyone matters in the program. There's no one that doesn't matter, and I think that holds true. And it just goes to show like the kind of guy that Coach Lockway is, and it just filters down from there, right? I mean, players care about each other, whether you're a scout team player, or you're the captain, or you're a freshman that plays, a freshman doesn't play. It doesn't really matter. Everybody cares about everybody, and it truly is a family. I think that's the big part.
Right. Awesome. All right. What part of the Dragon football culture and the Dragon way connect with you the most?
Yeah, I think I would say it was like when I was a player, I would say like the find a way part was the biggest thing. There was some times, obviously some dark times when we were losing games or winter workouts. I mean, it's the 6th week of winter workouts, and you're waking up and Anderson's 5 a.m. and you're going in there. And I remember there was a squat workout one time where we were repping out on squats and it wasn't very good energy, so we started the workout over and had to rep out on squats after repping out on squats. So some stuff like that where like you just got to find a way, like you just repped out on squats, you did as much as you could, and now you got to go in there and do all 6 of those sets again or whatever it was. You got to find a way to do it, and that part, I mean, still something I carry with me today. You're having an off day, well, you got to find a way to suck it up and bring great energy, because there's a position group now that's relying on me to bring great energy to meetings, to practice, and things like that. I think the part that resonates best with me now is the be a great teammate, and then in the sense that outside of football, being a great teammate to Maren, my wife, like I've noticed more that I think about that in the sense like I'll come home and maybe I'm tired and there's dishes in the sink and I look at them and I'm like, well, I know Maren's going to do them if I leave them. But that's not really being a great teammate, right? So it's like stepping up in those senses, which I'm not sure if I would have, maybe I would have, but just that train in the back of your mind of like, are you being a great teammate? Like every decision you're making, you're either being a great teammate or you're not. I think that part has bled more into my life outside of football, and obviously the other things has, but that's the one I think that now most resonates with me outside of football.
Without a doubt. All right. So next question, how have you applied what you learned in Dragon football program, to your life today? How would you kind of explain, just the changes, obviously, from being a player to a coach, maybe even early in early in your coaching career, even, just some of the, just kind of touch on a little bit of all that if you could.
Yeah, I mean that's a big question when you look at it as what it is. I mean, obviously, it's impacted my life a ton. Coaching early in my career, I think some of it was like to find a way again of like kind of finding a way to sink or swim. I mean, there's a lot of new stuff. You think you know it as a player, but when you get to a coach, I mean, you don't just have to know one position. Now you're knowing 11 positions, plus you're helping on 4 special teams, and you're doing, as a young coach, it's kind of like being a young guy in the program too. You get a lot of the grunt work, you get a lot of the heavy lifting, if you'd say. So that part of it, you really got to scrape and find, kind of shift back to being a young guy a little bit. And obviously you're new to it. So you're scrambling, everything's new relationships, new interactions. You're learning a lot. So like, you really got to find a way. I think that was the biggest thing for me early in coaching that I took with me there. But then obviously it's being a part of the program, you're continuing to grow in all of those aspects. Honestly, I think one of the biggest things that I've learned from these seniors is watching them, the guys, the 6th year guys, is like the be a great teammate thing. You've seen some of them, some get hurt that I've seen this season that are gonna, some miss games and some are gonna miss some more games coming up. But they're still great teammates. They still show up with great attitudes, even though stuff's not going their way. And those guys are true great teammates in the sense that they'll do whatever it takes for the team to win and what's best for the team. And I think that's something that recently has really set in with me, of watching those guys, obviously have success on Saturdays, but more of how much they care about their teammates and what they're willing to do for the team success, not really just their own success.
Right. A lot of people probably, from an outsider's perspective, you don't really realize how huge that is in a program, even now in the present, but obviously going into the future, because they got eyes on them constantly right. And,
Yeah.
you know, and I think there's a lot people can learn from that. And even just those guys and those experiences, you know, that's going to help them out a lot later in life too, when, you know, maybe something might not be going their way, you know, when they're starting their careers and stuff like that. And,
no doubt.
And it is crazy too. You know, I'll add on that too. When you go from player to coach in those first couple of years, it's something else. You know, Abe used to ask me a lot, you know, when he was thinking about getting into the coaching world, and he didn't know if it was going to be at MSUM or somewhere else. But, you know, when he kind of knew he was going to be helping out here, you know, we definitely had to have, you know, a couple conversations of just like, hey, this is kind of what it's like. Because it's like you're starting all over again, you know. And Abe had a little bit more of a he had a little bit more to weigh on. You know, he was captain, you know, all conference player. You know, he was coaching defense, so you know he knew it, and he was able to step in and lead really well. You know, from being a young coach, where, you know, shoot, I think back to when I started coaching, I was a D lineman turned running backs coach, and there was guys that were on the scout team that I was, you know, practicing against every day my senior year that were like, what do you know about running back, dude? Well, I was a heck of a running back in 7th grade, but not much in college, right? So it's very eye-opening. It's a big adjustment because, you know, you work really hard to maybe have a voice on the team as a senior, and when you get into the coaching world, it's back to square one. You know, you got to earn the respect of everyone that you either coach, and then guys that you obviously coach with, they got to be able to trust you. And you know, recruiting's a whole new animal, and that takes about as much work as it does to prepare for these Saturdays, if not more. Right. So.
Right. I mean, yeah, we're only 3 months of a season. The other 9 months are recruiting, right? So that is a big part of it that you probably don't. I didn't realize how big of a part it was going into it, but.
Right. All right, and then last one I got for you here. How did you change from before Dragon football to now because of your experiences?
Oof. I would say the biggest thing probably that I changed in was just doing what's right. You know, I don't know that I was necessarily a bad kid or anything like that. Like, I wasn't a perfect kid by any means. But at the same time, I think Lockway kind of almost ingrains it in you. Like in the back of your head when you're making decisions, you're kind of like, is this the right thing? And you know right away or not if it is the right thing. I remember there was Coach Cook was my position coach my first year here, and I was kind of going through some stuff or whatever, and I texted him, and I think I probably still have the text message copied into my notes, my phone, because I'll go back and read it every once in a while. But he just said, you know, first things first, you know, make the decision that's going to make you happy a year from now, not an hour from now. And that really helped me grow and see things from a different lens of like, all right, what am I doing, you know, decision wise? And then I think if you look through that lens, you know, with everyday decisions, like what's going to make me happy in a year from now? What decision, you know, is it an easy way to look at it is like, all right, there's a cookie and an apple, you know, if I eat the cookie, is that going to make me happy now? Well, yeah. But if I eat that cookie every single day versus the apple every single day, is that going to make you happy in a year? No, obviously the apple is going to be, you know, a small decision like that. Same, like if you look through that lens for every decision, that was something that has really stuck with me. And it's crazy to think, you know, Coach Cook, who was only my position coach for a year, but I would say he really impacted me in the sense of like little things like that. And now it's like, hopefully, you know, I still talk with him every once in a while, shoot him text, or we'll talk on the phone every once in a while. But it's like, hopefully I'm having an impact somewhere on somebody by something I'm doing or saying that carries with as much as he did for me, I guess. I think that's the biggest way I've changed is just, you know, always looking through that lens of what can I do to be better? You know, how am I doing what's right? Am I being a great teammate? Those things truly come through my mind on a daily basis. Maybe because I was a player and a coach, you know, I've been living it, like you said, 8 years or whatever it is. But though, I mean, the program is changed my life for sure. It's something I think about every single day. So,
Right.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, Abe. Well, thank you. Thank you for taking the time today to join. I know, obviously, very busy here. Want to wish you nothing but the best the rest of the season. And again, man, just thankful for everything you do in the program and what you will continue to do in the future. And look forward to watching the guys here this last stretch of the season.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on, and hopefully we can go get some beat ups soon.
Yes, sir. You can listen to the Dragon Way podcast on Apple, Spotify, and of course at MSUMdragons.com and the MSUM Dragons app. If you believe, like I do, that something great is happening at Dragon football, please subscribe and share the show. Until next time, do what's right, find a way, be a great teammate, and keep getting better. That's the Dragon Way. Thanks for listening, and go Dragons.